Chapter 11. This is my home. 11. Fang Jinglei is very beautiful, and it should be said that all the children in the Fang family are very beautiful. Among them, the second sister Fang Jinglei is the most beautiful. Not only that, she also has a pretty good figure. She and Fang Ping'an were standing under the tree and talking, which not only attracted the attention of the security guard at the door, but also attracted many students who were leaning on the windows to look at them. Fang Ping'an continued to shake his head. There is no special meaning. I just want to tell you that he is an adopted son. If there is nothing else, I will go back. You can go now and don't come to see me again in the future. He turned and left. Fang Jinglei stood there, watching him quickly run across the sun-baked open space and disappear from her sight. Doesn't he really have any other intentions? But why did he repeat it at that time? That person is your adopted son, but he is only your adopted son. What does this mean? It is impossible to just say that Hongjun is an adopted son, and he is the young master of the Fang family's bloodline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had to say that. He doesn't want the things anymore. What is he worried about, or does he really want to cut off all ties with the Fang family? She turned and walked towards the school gate. He took out a suitcase and placed it at the gatehouse, told the security guard to give it to Fang Ping'an from Class 3, and then left. Fang Ping'an's eyes just now were very firm, and there was even a hint of mockery. She shook her hair in confusion, started the car, and left. When Fang Ping'an was leaving school, he was stopped by the security guard on his way out. The beautiful lady at noon was with this boy, and the box was also his. Looking at the two suitcases placed by the security guard in the security room, he felt a headache. After thinking about it, I decided to just drop it off at the door of Fang's house. This will also let them know your attitude and determination. He took out his cell phone and called Chen Xiaohua, telling him that he would be back a little later. He took a taxi with the box to the Fang family villa, dropped the box at the door, and left. He didn't want to have anything to do with the Fang family anymore. Just think of the past 4 years as just a nightmare. When I got home and opened the door, I found that my adoptive parents were at home, and there was a sumptuous dinner on the table. It was obvious that the whole family hadn't started eating yet, and were still waiting for him. "Dad, Mom, didn't you check the store?" He noticed a new pair of slippers in the shoe cabinet when he was changing his shoes. Chen Xiaohua said with a smile, "You came back too late yesterday, so I'll give you a welcome dinner today. We closed the store after 2 p.m. when few people came. Come and try it, your mother made it specially for you." Liu Qing smiled and pointed at the dishes on the table. "Go wash your hands quickly. These are all the dishes you used to love to eat." Chen Xiuhui pouted and said dissatisfiedly, "I like all of these too. My brother and I like the same things." Fang Ping'an returned to his room, put his school bag down, washed his hands, and then sat at the dining table. Chen Xiaohua took out a bottle of beer from under his feet and put it on the table. "Welcome home safely. Let's have a drink today." Liu Qing smiled and glared at her husband, knowing that he was in a good mood today, and just started to put food into Fang Ping'an's bowl. Chen Xiuhui didn't mind this, because her mother also picked food for her and was not just concerned about Fang Ping'an. "Brother, where have you been? You came back so late, I'm hungry." Chen Xiuhui's unintentional words made Fang Ping'an silent for a while before he said, "The Fang family sent the things I left there to my school, and I just dropped them off at their door. So I came back late. Hui, I'm sorry, please eat quickly." Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing looked at each other and said nothing. Fang Ping'an got up and went to the kitchen to get a cup and put it in front of him. "Dad, pour me a cup too." Liu Qing quickly said, "Yes, pour a glass for Ping'an as well." Chen Xiaohua laughed. "Okay, let's just say goodbye to the past." Chen Xiuhui raised her hand. "I want one too. I haven't drunk alcohol yet." Liu Qing said angrily, "Why are you drinking wine as a girl?" Chen Xiaohua advised, "It's okay to have a drink." Chen Xiuhui made a face at Liu Qing and stuck out her tongue. Liu Qing laughed and cursed, "You stupid girl," and got up to look for a cup. Chen Xiaohua said, "You should have a drink too. It's okay to welcome Ping'an. Tomorrow is Saturday and there's no school." Fang Ping'an was touched, but he didn't say anything. He just lowered his head and ate. The wine was filled. Chen Xiaohua picked up the cup and said, "I won't say anything else. No matter what happened to you in the past, you are always our child. Welcome back, and I hope you can forget the past and start over." Chen Xiuhui held the cup in her little hand, with not only a smile on her face, but also a desire for beer. Liu Qing also picked up the wine glass, his eyes red. "Ping'an, this is your home forever." Fang Ping'an felt a lump in his throat, and his eyes were a little sore, and he nodded heavily. He tilted his head back and drank all the beer in one breath. This was his first time drinking beer, and it tasted a little strange, but that didn't matter. Chen Xiaohui and Liu Qing nodded happily. Okay, safe. Chen Xiuhui had never drunk beer before. She took a small sip and immediately frowned. The little girl had no idea that beer tastes best when you drink it in big gulps. When you take a sip the way she does, it's just sour, and it takes a while before you can feel the malt flavor. Yue, why doesn't it taste good at all? The little girl frowned and quickly took a bite of the dish. Chen Xiaohui laughed out loud, and Liu Qing laughed too. Fang Pingyan thought that beer tasted pretty good, but it had a bit of a strange taste when it first went in his mouth. Chen Xiuhui didn't know why Fang Pingyan didn't go back. She only knew that her brother was back, and her father and mother didn't have to be so sad every time they faced that room. That's a good thing for her. She also misses her brother Fang Pingyan. As for whether the child is the biological child of the parents, it makes no difference at all. Just call me brother. The meal was very warm and cozy, something Fang Pingyan had experienced before. But in the past 4 years, he had longed for it but never experienced it. Now that he is back here and has the lost warmth again, he cherishes it very much. I will never leave. I definitely don't want to go back to the Fang family again. This is my home. Fang Qingyan finished a day's work, and she really didn't want to attend the dinner, so she left on the pretext that she had other plans. Fang Junhong naturally said nothing. Anyway, this business cooperation with the Yue family has a long history, and he doesn't want Fang Qingyan to attend too many such banquets. Fang Qingyan drove across half of the city and arrived at a very quiet community. This is an upscale residential area, and most of the residents are young and successful people. She took out her key and opened a door with ease, changed her shoes, threw her bag on the sofa, and went to the kitchen to get herself a glass of purified water. She returned to the sofa and just sat down when a young woman in a nightgown came down from the second floor. Chapter 12, Put yourself in their shoes. Isn't this a very simple thing? 12. Her appearance without makeup is extremely beautiful, but her eyes and eyebrows are not that gentle. The sky blue silk suspender nightgown perfectly shows off her figure. Slim and sexy, she is about 1.7 meters tall and pretty. Gu Beibai, a young lawyer who is gaining popularity in Yuncheng, is only 28 years old. He is a partner and one of the top lawyers in Beiyun law firm. Why do you have time to come over to my place today? Fang Qingyan leaned on the sofa, looking tired. I've been a little annoyed lately and I'm very tired today. I don't want to go home. Let me rest for a while. Gu Beibai walked over barefoot and sat next to her. He stretched out his arms and put them around Fang Qingyan's neck, pulled her over, and kissed her hard on the lips. Yan, I've said it before, there's absolutely no need for you to be the CEO. Your father is only in his early 50s and can still work for many years. Why make yourself so hard? She then hugged Fang Qingyan in her arms. Fang Qingyan let her touch him for a while before pushing her away. She stood up, took off her blazer, and said, I'm going to take a shower. After saying that, she walked towards the bathroom. Gu Beibai said loudly, Have you not eaten yet? I only have instant noodles here. I've been busy lately and haven't cooked. Fang Qingyan didn't even turn her head. Just make something. If you really don't have anything, instant noodles will do. I know you have them. When Fang Qingyan went downstairs, a bowl of instant noodles was already on the dining table. Gu Beibai had placed his computer on the dining table at some point and was looking at some information. Fang Qingyan was also wearing a knee-length silk suspender nightgown. Hearing the sound of her coming down, Gu Beibai immediately stood up and went to greet her. The two of them hugged each other and kissed for a long time before Fang Qingyan gently pushed her away and said, Well, I won't leave tonight. Let me eat something. I'm really hungry. Gu Beibai let her go, licked his lips with an unsatisfied look and said, Yan, I can't wait any longer. Fang Qingyan sat down and started eating noodles. Obviously, she was only wearing a nightgown. When she sat down, her private parts were exposed, which looked extremely attractive under the white light. Fang Qingyan was indeed hungry. She ate very quickly and even finished her soup. After brushing her teeth, she and Gu Beibai rolled onto the sofa and started to cuddle with each other. After a while, Gu Beibai asked, What's wrong with you? Are you in a bad mood? Well, my brother has severed ties with our Fang family. Fang Qingyan's voice was a little breathless. Gu Beibai was stunned for a moment. The biological one. Fang Qingyan stared at the ceiling and said, Well, and I think that maybe what he said is true. Gu Beibai laughed for a while before saying, Although I am not interested in the dirty deeds of wealthy families like yours, I have said long ago that sooner or later something bad will happen to your family with the real and fake princes. She slapped Fang Qingyan on the butt, climbed up, sat on another sofa and crossed her legs. He bent down, took a cigarette from the box on the coffee table, lit it and took a puff. Fang Qingyan then climbed up and sat down, leaning on her, and began to harass her with her hands. "Stop it or you'll get burned," she patted Fang Qingyan's hand. "From all the rich and powerful families I've heard about, whether it's a real or fake prince or a daughter, they will never let two people live together. The vast majority of them let the fake ones go out and live on their own. At least this way, the family property can be ensured to remain in the hands of one's own people, instead of being given to outsiders in the end. I've already told you that if you do this, you'll run into problems sooner or later." "Ah." Fang Qingyan suddenly grabbed her and said, "We have lived with Hongjun for 18 years. Are we just going to throw away 18 years of love?" After Gu Beibai twisted it back, he continued, "One is a stranger who I have lived with for 18 years, and the other is a blood relative who I have lived with for 4 years. You always complain to me about your brother's shortcomings. Have you ever thought about how your brother feels? If you put yourself in their shoes, isn't this a very simple thing? I just don't understand. As a wealthy family, these kinds of blood-related things are always done cruelly. No matter how bad it is, they are still members of the Fang family, right? If you drive out the fake ones, you can cultivate and train the real ones carefully. Just like I treat you, sooner or later I will be able to train a qualified successor." Fang Qingyan thought about it and shook her head. "I thought so at first, but not only did my mom disagree, my dad didn't agree either. The matter was delayed. Now that things have become like this, I am not sure what the future will be like. Yesterday, Fang Ping'an not only beat up Fang Hongjun, but was also kicked out of the Fang family by my father. He was particularly ruthless and made my dad very angry." Gu Beibai was surprised and immediately laughed. "This is a bit unexpected." Putting the cigarette into the ashtray, she threw herself on Fang Qingyan and asked with a smile, "Did he act like a lickspittle to your whole family before? Now it has suddenly erupted, and you are all unable to adapt." Fang Qingyan said nothing, closed her eyes and let her do whatever she wanted. Gu Beibai continued, "If you ask me, Fang Ping'an did a great job on this matter. If it were me, I would have done it the day you guys didn't want to let the fake one go. Tusk, and I licked it for 4 years. Although this kid is a little stupid, he still has some ideas." She thought for a moment and said, "He must have given up hope on you, or he no longer sees any hope of you completely accepting him, so he is so determined." Fang Qingyan said slowly, "I was in the hospital with Fang Hongjun when he was driven away by my father. My second sister told me that he left very suddenly and said something like, 'If I come back, I will have a miserable death.' I began to suspect that the things that were lost before might not have been stolen by him." Gu Beibai held her in his mouth and stammered, "People who are capable of breaking off relations will not steal. I have looked through all the cases and found nothing like this." Fang Qingyan's mind began to blur. She listened to Gu Beibai torturing her while continuing, "If I leave like this, won't I never be able to steal anything again? Anyone who really wants to steal something will never give up such a good opportunity." Fang Ping'an and Chen Xiuhui really went to the wholesale market. Not only did Chen Xiuhui buy him 2 sets of clothes from head to toe, she also picked out and bought some miscellaneous daily necessities for the little girl. After watching a movie and eating a lot of street snacks, we each had a cup of milk tea and sat on chairs on the street to rest. "Brother, don't go back so early. Can you play for a while longer?" Fang Ping'an shook his head and said, "No, I still have to go to the bookstore to buy some questions, not only for myself, but also for you." Chen Xiuhui was immediately unhappy. "Brother, we are here to have fun, not to study. It's already tiring to do homework and papers every day. I finally wait until the weekend, and you want to buy papers for me again. Are you afraid that I will be idle, brother?" The girl, who still had some baby fat on her face, held the milk tea, pouting her lips, looking unwilling. Chapter 13, for example, just making a little money. 13. Fang Ping'an looked at the busy streets. Hui in this world, for children from ordinary families like us. The college entrance examination may be the only fair opportunity. If you don't want your parents to continue to work so hard, there is really no other way except to study hard. He opened his mouth and suddenly remembered everything he had seen in the 15 years he followed Fang Hongjun after his death. Isn't this his advantage? Chen Xiuhui lowered her head and sipped her milk tea, and did not notice Fang Ping'an's abnormality. She really wanted to tell her brother that she was annoying, but she was worried that he would remember what happened at the Fang family when he heard this, so she could only express her resistance by lowering her head and keeping silent. What was surging in Fang Pingin's mind was not only the Fang family's business empire for the next 10 years or so, but also all the memories of every aspect of life for the next 10 years or so. It must be admitted that Fang Hongjun entered the upper echelons of the Fang family and soon began to stand out in Yuncheng. It can be said that Fang Junhong has trained Fang Hongjun quite well, and Fang Hongjun is also a business genius who is no less than Fang Qingyan. But he can definitely expose Fang Hongjun's true identity. He had no chance to show up, let alone take possession of everything that originally belonged to him in the Fang family in the future. Even if I can't destroy this sinister guy Fang Hongjun, at least I can make myself happy again. What's more, he can use the information about the next 15 years to do something on his own. It's more than just letting Chen Xiaohua and his wife live a good life. It's a kind of pleasure of, you can't afford me now. The more Fang Pingan thought about it, the more feasible it seemed. His eyes became brighter and brighter. He had witnessed with his own eyes the conspiracy between Fang Hongjun and his biological mother. I also saw with my own eyes Fang Junhong taking Fang Hongjun and the woman named Qin Balian to dinner together. He witnessed what happened to his mother, Zhao Wei, and his 4 sisters. It was just that he was in spirit state at the time and knew everything that was happening but could only watch. However, he was still so angry that he was about to explode. It's different now. He knows a lot more that have not happened yet. He just had to make a small attempt to confirm it. If the changes only occur in the Fang family and do not interfere with the direction of any other major events, there should be no butterfly effect. Like just to make a little money. In just a few seconds, countless thoughts flashed through my mind. He pulled up the girl who was sitting next to him with her head down and said, "Let's go buy the test papers. Before you go home, I'll buy you whatever you want as long as it's not too expensive." "Real?" The girl raised her head, her 2 big eyes showing a little excitement. "Well, I mean what I say. If I lie to you, I'll be a puppy." Fang Pingan nodded vigorously, very convincingly. "Great." Chen Xiuhui waved her little fist and punched hard in the air. After dinner, Fang Pingan silently recalled his memories in his room. With his photographic memory, he naturally remembered what he had seen. The only ways to make money without attracting attention are lottery or stocks. He is not yet 18 years old and cannot open his own account at the exchange. And this matter cannot be let my parents know. If you want to change your situation and financial status as quickly as possible, lottery is the only option. After his birthday, he can open an account, and then he can trade not only stocks but also futures. Once you have your first pot of gold, you can start your own company even while you are in college. He has a lot of money now, and even if he lives alone, it is enough for him to finish college after paying the rent. It's really not difficult to get a huge sum of nearly 200,000 yuan, plus you can still make money. He is going to college in September, and he doesn't want his parents to pay for his tuition and living expenses. University. No, he had to let the Fang family know as soon as possible that Fang Hongjun was Fang Junhong's biological son. He didn't believe that this incident would not irritate those stupid women in the Fang family. If things really get exciting, Fang Junhong should let Fang Hongjun study abroad. Once Zhao Wei believes that Fang Hongjun is the son of his mistress, she will probably really turn against him. By then, Fang Junhong would let that guy go abroad despite the pressure. However, there are only 2 people who are most likely to be able to investigate this matter. One is the second sister Fang Jinglei, and the other is the 4th sister Fang Myoxuan. But my 4th sister probably doesn't have time, as she is still attending university in Beijing. The second sister Fang Jinglei is a screenwriter. She works at home most of the time and is the one with the most time. As for his eldest sister Fang Qingyan, he was not sure whether she would accept this possibility. In any case, Fang Zhidi would never believe it. What I said when I left the Fang family was really a reminder to them. It seems that the one who noticed that sentence was the second sister Fang Jinglei. Otherwise, she wouldn't have run to school in the middle of the day yesterday to ask herself. She is the only one who can be used. Weekday. Fang Pingan ran to the lottery shop outside the community. He was wearing the new clothes he bought yesterday and looked like a clean big boy. He stood outside the door and didn't go in, because there was always a large group of people in the lottery station who dreamed of getting rich overnight. The sunlight shone on his body, and he stood there quietly, staring at the thick lines on the wall drawn by those obsessed people. In my mind, I was thinking that, if I remembered correctly, the double color ball draw at the end of May should be the one with the most consecutive numbers ever seen in history. That is, the first 6 digits and the last digit are connected. This ranking cannot be produced by machine selection, nor can it be guessed by anyone. However, this time, someone also won the grand prize. In order to avoid suspicion, he thought for a while, walked in, took out 10 yuan and bought 5 tickets. It was a very simple arrangement. He asked the boss to arrange the numbers from 8 to 14 according to his requirements. These should be next week's lottery numbers. Starting a week in advance was just to make people think he was stubborn. The boss looked at him strangely, but didn't say anything. He had seen too many people who thought the numbers they chose were sure to win, and the young man in front of him was no exception. He quickly printed out a card and handed it to him, then continued to work on calculating the numbers. Fang Ping'an put the lottery ticket in his pocket, turned around and went home. The lottery will be drawn tomorrow, Monday, but he will definitely not win. What he wants to buy is actually the lottery draw on Saturday night next week. He didn't tell anyone because he knew very well that this kind of thing couldn't be shared with anyone. Besides, I don't want to tell my parents. Just treat it as a verification of his rebirth. He will tell them only if he really wins the prize. Sunday night, Fang Qingyan returned home and prepared to take a shower and go to bed. But just as she changed into her nightgown, she heard someone knocking on the door. Chapter 14, I want to apologize to him. She put on a coat, walked over and opened the door. Fang Jinglei, who was wearing pajamas, stood outside the door and said quietly, "Sister, I have something to tell you." Fang Qingyan was stunned for a moment and then moved aside. Fang Jinglei followed her in and closed the door. After Fang Jinglei came in, she sat directly on the sofa in the room. "Why haven't you slept yet so late? What's the matter?" Fang Qingyan asked, sitting on the sofa. Fang Jinglei hesitated for a long time before saying, "Sister, I went to see Ping'an yesterday at noon." Fang Qingyan nodded, said nothing, and waited for the next step. "Yesterday I went there with the things in his room," Fang Jinglei said slowly, and asked a question. "When Ping'an left that night, he said something that made me feel very uncomfortable for the past few days." Fang Qingyan frowned slightly. She wasn't actually very angry that night. When Fang Ping'an beat Fang Hongzhen violently, she was completely shocked and frightened by Fang Ping'an. Like her mother Zhao Wei, she was reluctant to let Fang Hongzhen leave the family. After all, brother Hongzhen has lived with them, and they're sisters for 18 years. I still remember that she had grown up when Hongzhen first came. I watched her grow from such a small child to the size she is now. Even if she occasionally acts like a spoiled brat, it is completely normal for her. Which child doesn't act like a spoiled brat? What's more, before Hongzhen went to school, his mother raised him personally, unlike other families who had to rely on nannies to raise them. Therefore, Hongzhen's relationship with them is deeper than that with other families. But the second sister hadn't said anything tonight, but she sensitively felt that what the second sister was going to say was probably not a trivial matter. "What did he say? I didn't pay attention at the time," Fang Qingyan encouraged. "That's what he said to Mom when he left," Fang Jinglei said. "I suspect he meant something else. He said he wanted to give Mom some kind advice, saying that Hongzhen is Mom's adopted son, but he is only Mom's adopted son." Fang Qingyan frowned and thought about it, her expression changing. "Sister," she looked at Fang Qingyan, "tell me, have we been very bad to Ping'an in the past few years? No matter what he does, we just don't like it. He doesn't even want to be the heir of the Fang family anymore." All she could think of now was how she had scolded Fang Ping'an. Although she was not as mean as her third sister Fang Zhidi, she had nothing nice to say either. Thinking of the way Fang Ping'an turned and left with a school bag on his back that night, I felt very uncomfortable, and my nose felt a little sore. She had no mind to work these 2 days, and was thinking about this matter all day long. What was Fang Ping'an's intention when he said that day when he left? She knew that except for her fourth sister who was not at home, everyone in the family had an almost irrational trust in Fang Hongzhen. Could it be that the feelings of living together for 18 years are far superior to reason? She murmured to herself. Fang Qingyan heard this sentence clearly. "Jinglei, tell me, what did Ping'an mean by what he said that night?" Fang Jinglei shook her head slightly. "I went to ask him the next day at noon, but he refused to tell me anything. He said he didn't mean anything else. He just told his mother that Hongzhen was an adopted son. But I always feel something is wrong. Hongzhen is an adopted son. This is something everyone knows. There is no need to say it deliberately. Why did he say that specifically to my mother? Moreover, the words, 'only yours,' were specially emphasized. I think he's got something else in his words, but I can't figure it out." She didn't say she didn't dare to guess any further. "According to my own interpretation, there are 2 meanings. One is that Hongzhen is an adopted son, and is not a member of the Fang family at all. The second is that Fang Hongjun is only his mother's adopted son, but not necessarily his father's adopted son. The third one is that Fang Hongjun is not his parents' child, but is from the Fang family in Beijing, so he can be considered a family relative. The first is that everyone knows that Fang Hongjun is not a member of the Fang family. The second one is worth pondering. If Fang Hongjun is not his father's adopted son, then there is only one possibility, that Hongjun is also his father's child. My father has been having someone else outside for nearly 20 years. Third, she had absolutely no ability to check. My father came to Yuncheng to set up his own company, but in fact it was to help the Fang family from Beijing to gain a foothold in Yun province. There is no doubt about my father's ability to have achieved what he has today, but these are just my own guesses and cannot be confirmed. She didn't dare to express these thoughts directly. She needs someone to help her confirm and affirm this idea. Fang Qingyan, who was sitting next to her, had indeed not paid much attention to this sentence before. After listening to Fang Jinglei's words, he also fell into deep thought. "So you came to me just to tell me this," she thought and said. "This can be interpreted in two ways. One is that Hongjun is not a member of the Fang family, but was adopted. I remember that Hongjun was brought home by his father. At that time, his mother was very sad because Ping'an was lost, and she was basically confused all day long. Another meaning is that Hongjun is just his mother's adopted son, but not necessarily his father's adopted son. Do you think my analysis is correct?" Fang Qingyan stared into Fang Jinglei's eyes and said. Fang Jinglei lowered her head. "I don't know. The fact that Ping'an decided to leave so quickly meant that he had completely given up on our Fang family. Moreover, he doesn't let me call myself sister." Her eyes were red, and she sniffed gently to suppress the sourness. Fang Qingyan suddenly thought of what Gu Beibai said when she was overwhelmed with emotion. "Have you ever thought about how your brother feels? How about we go and ask Ping'an tomorrow what it means?" she asked, trying to speak. Fang Jinglei nodded. "He probably doesn't want to see us now, sister. Why don't you try to contact him tomorrow at noon? Wait until he finishes class at 12 o'clock. No, call him after he finishes lunch." "I don't have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. I'll arrange it in the morning and call you later. Should we go together to see him, or should I go alone?" Fang Qingyan originally didn't want Fang Jinglei to go with her, but she didn't expect her second sister to nod so readily. "I'm going, and I really want to know if he really knows something and how he knows it. I also want to apologize to him." Chapter 15, Are You Doubting Hongjun? 15. I was so mean to him in the past. Whether he is willing to forgive me or not, I owe him an apology. Fang Jinglei's expression was somewhat obscure, and Fang Qingyan didn't know whether she really wanted the other party to apologize safely or not. But since she wants to go, let's go together. Because of the late-night discussion between the two women of the Fang family, Fang Ping'an received another call from Fang Qingyan on Monday at noon. This time, he didn't hang up, but walked out of the classroom and answered the call. "Fang Ping'an, are you in school?" Fang Qingyan's tone was very calm, and Fang Ping'an could not hear any emotion at all. He hesitated for a moment and said nothing, but he didn't hang up the phone either. Fang Qingyan seemed to let out a breath, and then Fang Ping'an heard her say, "Can you take a leave this afternoon? I want to see you." Fang Ping'an frowned. "Didn't we agree not to disturb each other?" Fang Qingyan, "Not only me, your second sister, and I will go to see you together." Fang Ping'an sneered. "Don't use the word sister, you don't deserve it. I don't have a sister like you either." Fang Qingyan didn't want to dwell on these details. "Take a leave this afternoon. Your second sister and I will meet you at the gate of your school at 1:45. Fang Ping'an looked at his watch, and it was almost 1 o'clock. "What is it that you two have to discuss in person? Can't you talk over the phone?" He was a little impatient. Fang Qingyan was silent for a moment. "It's not convenient to talk over the phone. We'll leave soon and arrive at your place between 1:30 and 1:45. Fang Ping'an didn't say anything else. He hung up the phone and went back to the classroom. The fat man who was lying there just now disappeared, but he didn't care. There were a few students lying scattered around in the classroom. None of them wanted to go home, or their parents were not at home. When he set the alarm and prepared to lie down for a while, the fat man came back. There were 2 other people coming in with him. These 3 were often together, and almost all the classmates knew that they smoked, and even some of the teachers knew it. But I have never been caught on campus. The classroom was suddenly filled with a strong smell of cigarette smoke. Fortunately, there are not many people who are willing to take a nap in the classroom, and most of them are boys. Most of the girls go back to the dormitory to sleep after eating. Even if they don't go home, they They go to the dormitory to chat. Fang Ping'an lay on his seat, thinking about what to say when he met the two sisters in a while so as to draw their attention to Fang Hongjun without leaving any trace. What? On the other side, Fang Qingyan was still dazed as she looked at the phone that had been hung up. She really didn't expect Fang Ping'an to agree to come out and meet them. He agreed. He didn't refuse. Oh, then, I prepared a card, Fang Jinglei said. Not much, just 100,000. Fang Qingyan shook her head and said, I told my bestie about Fang Ping'an and his family. If you give him money, I'm afraid it will only deepen his misunderstanding. Fang Jinglei smiled and said, It's okay, if he doesn't want it, I'll take it back. I knew he must have gone back to his adoptive father's home. That family is not well off. Fang Qingyan stared at her for a while before asking, I remember that although you are not as extreme as third sister, you don't seem to be too nice to Ping'an either. Yeah, Fang Jinglei picked up her coffee and looked out the window. If he hadn't reminded me, I probably wouldn't have thought so much. Come to think of it, for so many years, he has been carefully trying to gain everyone's recognition. I won't say anything about you guys. But I myself did go too far. No matter what, he is our brother by blood, born of the same mother. Fang Jinglei, stop imagining this. What has Hongjun done wrong over the years? Are you doubting Hongjun? Fang Qingyan's tone was a little bad, but she was able to maintain her composure and did not raise her voice in the cafe. Fang Jinglei turned her head and looked at her. Sister, you asked me what Hongjun did wrong. Yes, he did nothing wrong. But what did Ping'an do wrong? Haven't we ever believed whatever Hongjun said? Also, don't you also have two different interpretations of what Ping'an said? Haven't you thought of the worst possible scenario? After a pause, she added, I'm not trying to take his side. I just want to think that from now on, no matter whether my two younger brothers are together or not, I will treat them equally. As for whether Ping'an can accept it, that's really not my concern. I just have to take care of myself. Her thinking changed quickly. When she hated Fang Ping'an, he was really an eyesore no matter how she looked at him. But when she took off her tinted glasses, she realized that no matter how hard she recalled, Fang Ping'an had not done anything wrong before he started beating people. Even more so are the family members, including himself, who mindlessly ignore the other party's Ping'an, just as they mindlessly dote on and blindly listen to and believe the other party's Hongjun. She herself is a writer and screenwriter, and of course she has written countless characters. If she put herself in his shoes, she believed that she would not be able to endure 4 years like Fang Ping'an. They must have fallen out completely within a week. After hearing her series of questions, Fang Qingyan just shook her head and sighed. Let's go, it's almost time. We'll just be at the entrance of his school. She picked up her bag, stood up and walked out. Fang Jinglei put down the cup, stood up silently and followed. The time soon came to 1:40. The cell phone alarm rang. Fang Ping'an got up and rubbed his face but still felt sleepy, so he went to the bathroom to wash his face. I told the fat boy that he might not be able to attend the 2 classes in the afternoon. If the teacher finds out, just say he is sick, and don't worry about anything else. The fat boy agreed with a confused look on his face. He then tidied up his desk a little, went downstairs and walked towards the school gate. At this time, students who were going to school in the afternoon had begun to arrive one after another. Most of them were delivered by private cars. When Fang Ping'an walked out of the gate, he saw his elder sister Fang Qingyan's car, a Maserati, parked on the side of the road not far away. He walked over and knocked on the car window. The car window rolled down to reveal Fang Qingyan's face. Get in the car. Fang Ping'an opened the back door and got in. He was sitting alone in the back row, with Fang Qingyan and Fang Jinglei sitting in front of him. He said nothing after getting in the car, and Fang Qingyan started the car and drove towards the city. There were quite a few vehicles on the street, but it was obvious that Fang Qingyan was an excellent driver. After the car stopped and 3 people got off, Fang Ping'an realized that this was Yanjiang Avenue. In the Western restaurant, after the 3 of them sat down, Fang Jinglei asked, "What would you like to drink?" Fang Ping'an said, "Ice water will do." Fang Qingyan ordered black tea and some snacks. Fang Jinglei put her phone aside after ordering. Instantly, there was an awkward silence between the 3 of them. Fang Ping'an said, "I've asked for leave. If you have anything to say, just tell me. Now that I am here, I will not quarrel with you." Chapter 16, Remember to Pay. 16. Your second sister and I came to see you because we want to know. What do you know about Fang Hongjun? What did you mean by the words you said to Mom when you left that day? In order to get a direct answer from Fang Ping'an, she continued speaking in one breath. Your second sister discovered that there was something else behind your words, So we came here to find out what you wanted to say. Do you mean to say that Fang Hongjun is Dad's illegitimate son? Fang Pingyan was stunned for a moment. He looked at Fang Jinglei and saw that she was also looking at him longingly. The college entrance examination is coming soon. It is a fact that Fang Hongjun has excellent academic performance. Although this has nothing to do with him, if he can make that guy's mentality a little worse, at least he can be happy. Besides, he had originally planned to tell them, but he hadn't figured out how to do it. Since it's delivered to their doorstep, tell them to let Fang Hongjun and Fang Junhong, father and son, face the wrath of the Zhao family as soon as possible, hee. Fang Hongjun's biological mother is Qin Balian, and she lives in Building 13, Area 2, Century Garden, Heidong District. If you have paid attention to where Fang Junhong goes when he is not home, and the occasional weekends when Fang Hongjun is not at home, you will naturally find some clues. But I think that your whole family's doting on Fang Hongjun has reached the point of being completely brainwashed. What little extra time I had was spent focusing on my mistakes. I believe you have never paid attention to this. There was a hint of joking in Fang Pingyan's tone. Fang Hongjun is your half-brother, and your mother and the rest of you, like a bunch of idiots, not only dote on your biological father's mistress's son, but also treat him like the apple of your eye. Have I made myself clear enough? Fang Qingyan opened her mouth and eyes wide, and she was about to scream out. Fang Jinglei covered her mouth with her hand, but then she asked very quickly, "How did you know? Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Fang Pingyan smiled but said nothing. Fang Qingyan then asked, "Do you have any evidence?" To be honest, she did not completely disbelieve what Fang Pingyan said. With the name and address available, there must be such a person as Qin Balian. As for whether it is true or not, she will naturally send someone to investigate. However, she really didn't want to believe that the brother Hongjun, whom she had always doted on, was actually her half-brother. If brother Hongjun himself knew about this, wouldn't that be too scary? It completely overturned the image of her brother as a well-behaved, sensible, and very good student. She blurted out these words without even thinking about them. The nameless anger in Fang Pingyan's heart suddenly burned fiercely. "Why are you asking me for evidence? Why didn't you ask for evidence when you, Fang Qingyan, threw things at me and scolded me? Why didn't you ask Fang Hongjun for evidence when he slandered me? Why? How I know this is none of your business. Moreover, Miss Fang asked me for evidence. Do I need to give you evidence? Believe it or not is your business. What does it have to do with me? Want evidence from me? Why should I give it to you? You can just treat me as a rumor, right?" Fang Jinglei quickly comforted him. "Pingyan, don't be angry, I just said it casually." Fang Qingyan's face flushed with embarrassment, but she had been the president for more than 2 years, so naturally she had never said the word sorry to anyone. Fang Pingyan had no intention of stopping. "Haha, you want me to provide evidence just because of what I said. Who is she? A judge or a policeman? Even if there is evidence, why should I give it to her? I can tell you this only because you are not really stupid. You understood what I meant and came to verify it. Otherwise, I'll wait to see your Fang family make a fool of themselves. Isn't it about saving face? After working hard for 18 years and raising a son with a mistress like a star, he now has to hand over his family business to her. While the Fang family's tutoring is really great, awesome. The Fang family really has some shame, ha. I'm really looking forward to what the news reports will say when this breaks." Fang Pingyan finished speaking in one breath and then picked up the water cup and took a sip. Being called an idiot by an 18-year-old high school student, she naturally felt very embarrassed, and Fang Qingyan looked unhappy. "Keep your mouth clean. That's also your mother, we are your sisters. You still have the blood of the Fang family flowing in your veins." Fang Pingyan sneered. "Miss Fang, have you lost your memory or are you really stupid? I just cut off all ties with you last week. That's your mother and your brother Hongjun whom you trust so much. I have nothing to do with you anymore. Don't try to build a relationship with me. Do you really think that what you did to me makes you worthy of being a sister? Are you worthy of being my sister? That woman is not worthy of being my mother. Even if we are related by blood, I'm sorry. I don't want you anymore, do you understand? It's me, I don't want you anymore. Do you understand?" Fang Jinglei looked at this now unfamiliar brother in silence, feeling a little sad. Fang Pingyan's sudden anger did not make her angry. Instead, I feel more guilty. "Pingyan," she suddenly reached out and grabbed Fang Pingyan's hand. "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I shouldn't keep saying nasty things to you without knowing the truth. I was not nice to you in the past, so come home with us. I promise to treat you well in the future, okay?" Fang Pingyan was a little stunned. Not only him, but Fang Qingyan was also a little surprised. Although she also wanted Fang Ping'an to return to the Fang family, she must still ask Fang Ping'an to apologize to his father, mother, and Hongjian after returning. No matter who was wrong, it was wrong to kick someone in the balls that day, not to mention sending him to the hospital. Of course, this is just her idea. She also didn't think Fang Ping'an would admit his mistake. But now, the second sister, who had always looked down on Ping'an, actually took the initiative to apologize. What should she do? Couldn't you apologize together? No, I don't want to apologize to him. Hongjian, brother Hongjian, is indeed very well behaved. Even if Hongjian's younger brother is his father's illegitimate son, this is not something Hongjian can choose. Who can choose his own birth? If everything is true, then it is the father who is wrong, and it has nothing to do with Hongjian. Brother Hongjian must not know his own background. It must be like this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been trying so hard to please them, sticking to his mother every day, hoping to please her. Just as she changed her mind, Fang Ping'an broke free from Fang Jinglei's hand. No, I'm fine now. There is nothing between me and you anymore. Haven't you always thought that I was coveting your Fang family's things? After I leave the Fang family and sever ties with you, everything about your Fang family has nothing to do with me. I can support myself, and I don't need your pity. He stood up. I have already told you the questions you came to verify. I have no obligation to tell you this news for nothing. Remember to pay. Chapter 17, Money, Money, Money. That's all I know about money. Fang Qingyan felt inexplicably angry. And you still say you don't covet Fang family's things. Money, 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 that's all you know about money. How much? Just tell me a number. Her expression also changed, and she asked coldly. She once again put on the attitude of a wealthy and noble lady. Fang Jinglei quickly stood up and pulled her back to Fang Ping'an and said, Ping'an, don't be angry. This is how my elder sister is. Fang Ping'an raised his eyebrows and said, That's your sister, don't talk to me about elder sister. After I disown you, you are nothing but strangers. What she is like is none of my business. Anyway, the news is not given to you for nothing. Considering that your pitiful future can bring me a little joy, I will sell this news to you at a cheap price of 100,000 yuan. If I sell it to a big V, I wouldn't say how much it would be, but 200,000 or 300,000 is definitely worth it. Miss Fang, you know my green bubble account number, right? Do you need me to write it out for you? Fang Qingyan was so angry that she was shaking all over, but she couldn't get angry anymore. I'm so angry. Fang Jinglei stopped Fang Qingyan, picked up her phone, and frantically began to look for Fang Ping'an's account. Fang Ping'an just stood there quietly watching her search. It was indeed deleted. He took out his wallet and pulled out a bank card, put it on the table and said, Take a picture and punch it in for me. Fang Jinglei was extremely upset. She had long forgotten when she deleted Fang Ping'an's green bubble. Suddenly, she remembered, didn't I bring a card? She took the card out of her bag and placed it on the table. There is exactly 100,000 yuan in this card. Why do I need your card? Fang Ping'an said. Put it on my card and then it would be best if we never meet again. Don't bother me anymore about anyone or anything from your Fang family. Fang Jinglei took a photo of the bank card, but did not take back her own card. Sister, can you control your emotions? She finally had the chance to sit down and talk calmly to Fang Ping'an, but her elder sister always thought too much. She wanted to continue to ease her relationship with Fang Ping'an, but she saw Fang Ping'an picked up his bank card and turned away. He didn't even look at them again. Fang Qingyan stared at the table with a gloomy face, not saying a word. Fang Jinglei didn't bother to say anything to her, and just stood up and chased after her. After leaving the coffee shop, she quickly caught up with Fang Ping'an and said, Ping-an, can you listen to me for a few more words? Fang Ping'an stopped, turned around and just looked at her. Fang Jinglei quickened her speaking speed and said, I know I have been treating you badly since you came to the Fang family. It's my fault. Can you forgive me? Seeing an impatient look on Fang Ping'an's face, she hurried on. I don't ask you to return to the Fang family, nor do I ask you to forgive all of us. I really want to apologize to you. Her eyes were red and she was about to cry. It was all my fault in the past. I shouldn't have stood on Fang Hongjian's side and sometimes ignored your presence at home. It was all my fault. Ping-an, can you forgive me? Fang Ping'an waited quietly for her to finish speaking before speaking. Second, Miss Fang, after we sever our relationship, I have nothing to do with anyone or anything in your Fang family. The past is past, and it is absolutely impossible to go back to the past. You don't need to apologize. I have already forgotten the past. Fang Jinglei's tears finally fell. I feel so guilty. Fang Ping'an interrupted her and said, That's not necessary. Your guilt is your business, just don't involve me. We should just try to be strangers to each other. Goodbye. Fang Ping'an left. Fang Jinglei stood there blankly, watching his departing back, crying silently. She regretted it so much. She hated herself so much. Why do you treat your only brother like that? Why be so nice to that fake? She regrets it very much. But the meaning of Fang Ping'an's goodbye couldn't be clearer. Never see you again. She stood there watching Fang Ping'an leave, covering her mouth and letting the tears flow down her delicate face. Fang Qingyan sat in her seat without getting up or paying any attention to Fang Jinglei. She wondered if Fang Ping'an said those things on purpose. Is it possible that someone was deliberately placed at that address? But then she denied this speculation. Even if Fang Ping'an is very smart, he probably doesn't have that much money to do this. Besides, as long as you pay, you will definitely be able to find out the truth. In this world, there is nothing that cannot be solved by money. If there is, it is because you don't earn enough money. Thinking of this, she could no longer control herself and continued thinking. If my father had been hiding Fang Hongzhen's true identity, doesn't that mean that my father had someone outside 20 years ago? How could she accept this? If my mother knew about this, she would not be able to accept it. It is a fact that the whole family dotes on Hongzhen, and it cannot be denied. But my father has always been very good to my mother. Did Fang Ping'an, this guy, leak this news after leaving the Fang family, because he wanted the Fang family to fall apart? This thought is too vicious. Isn't it just that there has been less attention paid to you in the past 4 years? If outsiders knew about this, wouldn't the Fang family lose all face? But if what he said is true, what should the Fang family do? My mind is in a mess. Should I tell my mother about this? Well, Mom, my little brother Hongzhen, whom you pamper every day, is my dad's illegitimate son outside. My father's lover has been doing well in Century Garden. The mother and son are just waiting to receive our Fang family's property. Can you say that? With my mother's personality, wouldn't she be depressed? She was confused and didn't know what to do. This was the scene Fang Jinglei saw when she came back after calming down. My eldest sister sat there, holding her cup of tea but not drinking it, with a blank look in her eyes. He looked distraught. Sister, what are you thinking about? Fang Jinglei sat down, picked up the coffee in front of her and took a sip. Fang Qingyan came back to her senses, put down the cup and said, I don't know how to tell Mom. Fang Jinglei shook her head. I can't tell you. Let's find out more about it first. I know the contact information of several paparazzi, so I asked them to help keep an eye on it for a while. Whether it's Century Garden or Dad's whereabouts, I have to follow him. And I will also make arrangements for Hongzhen. Fang Qingyan gathered her thoughts and thought for a moment before saying, this matter must not be known to the third brother. If she knew, she would definitely tell everyone at home, and then it would be difficult for both of us. Fang Jinglei took a breath and nodded. How much does it cost approximately? I'll transfer it to you, Fang Qingyan said seriously. Fang Jinglei shook her head. I don't know. I heard that the price of secrets of wealthy families like this is usually not low. Besides, these paparazzi only care about money, and I am also worried that they will sell the Fang family after they find out. Fang Qingyan sighed. Forget it, don't worry about it, I'll do it. I'll find someone I trust to do this. You will be ventilated when the time comes. Chapter 18. It would be a shame if you don't take it. 18. It was after the second class in the afternoon, when Fang Ping'an received the transfer information. It would be a waste if he doesn't take this money. Why should I talk about backbone like an idiot? If this information is sold to a big V, I can't say how much it will be, but it will be no problem to sell it for 200,000 or 300,000. He has even less, but there is really not much difference between 100,000 and 500,000 to him now. Besides, there was no way for anyone to know what he wanted to do. And the time is not yet. Take your time. As for how the two young ladies of the Fang family plan to deal with it, it has nothing to do with him. Soon it was Saturday. He bought the 3 draws of the double color ball this week, every afternoon after school. I bought the weekend issue after school on Friday. But on Friday, he bought one for $50. There are 5 different sets of numbers in total, and I bought 5 copies of each. He was not very clear about how much money he could get from the prize, but he believed it would not be less than 30 million and about 20 million after tax. This is undoubtedly more than enough for what you want to do in the future. It can't be used up. It can never be used up. Things like the double color ball have always been a game and tool played by all dreamers and those with premeditated plans. Fang Ping'an was not sure whether everything after his rebirth would be the same as in his previous life. It would be a lie to say I wasn't nervous. After all, he is just an 18-year-old middle school student. If we must count the 15 years after the death of the previous life, it can be considered old wine in new bottles. The problem is that he existed in a spirit body for the last 15 years of his previous life. I have never communicated with anyone, nor have I experienced love, hate, or anything like that. He couldn't even be angry. There is no so-called worldly wisdom or calmness. He was still nervous when he should be nervous. On the other hand, this time's double color ball is his only means to ensure that there will be no major changes in the future. He has already examined trends such as futures stocks. It is no different from his previous life, but the future trends he knows can be used to make money. But he didn't dare to put all his money on that bet. The only thing that can be used to verify this is the lottery. Instead of watching TV, he just sat quietly in his room, waiting for the lottery results at 8 o'clock. There is live broadcast on mobile phone. When Fang Ping'an's heart was pounding, and his face was flushed as he saw that the last blue ball was 14, he really couldn't hold back his inner excitement. With a small cheer, he rolled around in bed for a while. After calming down, he put the lottery ticket in his phone case. At the lottery betting station outside the community, the owner was stunned. There were more than 20 people standing or sitting in front of the screen, and no one was quiet. Everyone was talking loudly about how strange the result was this time, and whether there was another inside story or something. But the boss couldn't hear anything anymore. He knew very well that the child who bought 3 consecutive issues yesterday afternoon was the winner of this period's grand prize. That kid wasn't the only one to buy consecutive numbers, but that was the only big prize winner in his small shop in all those years. In the future, this store's business will definitely be better. The only thing I can't understand is why the child chose these consecutive numbers and bought the same numbers for 3 issues. Out of the most basic professional ethics, he couldn't say at this time that the winning number came from his point. He really wanted to say it right now, but he knew very well that doing so would bring unknown danger to the seemingly innocent child. He can only wait for the final official announcement. He had to say he had no impression of it. That was all he could do. Other than that, he had made up his mind. I don't remember a damn thing. If the King of Heaven comes, I will say the same thing. Right. That's it. Fuck, this account is fucking amazing. Hey, how many grand prizes are there this time? Big prize bullshit. Who the hell would buy these consecutive numbers for no reason? If this is a lottery win, it would be strange to say there is no shady dealings. It would be strange if there really is something fishy going on here. How can a number be issued like this? That's right. If you said there were 3 consecutive numbers, it would be fine, but these 7 are all consecutive numbers. Even a god can't guess it. It's not just this small lottery spot. Countless people all over the country are beating their chests and stamping their feet. But Fang Ping'an has calmed down. The first thing I did after receiving the award was to buy a big house for Chen Xiaohua and his wife. I also want to buy a set for Hui. I also want to buy the small shop that I have rented for more than 20 years and give it to them. With an irrepressible smile on his face, he spread out the paper that he had to complete this weekend. It also has to be handed in to the monitor on Monday morning. He decided to accept the award on Tuesday afternoon. Fang Ping'an and Fang Jinglei have talked several times this week. They were surprised to find that when they really stepped out of the Fang family circle and looked at everything that happened at home every day as an outsider, they did find something wrong. Fang Hongzhen's well-behaved and obedient behavior, as well as his clinging to his mother, were somewhat artificial. Although the marks are not obvious, they can still be seen. If it weren't for Fang Ping'an's reminder, they would have still thought that this little brother was indeed very outstanding and excellent, and was very filial and obedient to his parents. Sister, you haven't started yet. Fang Jinglei's room is the same size as Fang Qingyan's. However, she doesn't have a dedicated study room, and the sofa is a very large and soft one, which is convenient for her to lie on and read. There was a glass of water in front of Fang Qingyan. Fang Jinglei sat cross-legged in her big chair. This was the 3rd time the two had talked about this week. Not yet, I still can't make up my mind. Fang Qingyan sighed. I'm afraid the results will be true. I'm afraid my mother won't be able to accept it. I'm afraid that our family will break up by then. Fang Jinglei looked at this smart and wise elder sister silently. The business areas that the Fang Group is involved in mainly include shopping malls, real estate, and financial industries, and it is also involved in shipping ports and terminals. In the hands of my elder sister, these things don't seem so difficult. In recent years, Fang Qingyan joined Fang Corporation and became the president after 1 year of internship. She is one of the goddesses of countless young talents in Yuncheng, but so far no one has been able to catch her eye. But why are the internal affairs of the Fang family so difficult to decide? Sister Hongzhen's coming-of-age party is coming soon. Do you want to wait until then? Fang Jinglei was a little anxious, as she was very clear about what wealthy families did. The status of the future heir is usually announced at this point in time. Once this big bombshell is revealed after it is announced, some people will think that even if he is an illegitimate child, he still belongs to the Fang family. What's more, if Fang Hongzhen is really outstanding, and if he catches the eye of the Fang family in Beijing, then by then it would be a done deal and there would be no way back. Chapter 19, I'm in a good mood. 19. Fang Qingyan was also very aware of the importance of the timing of the outbreak of this incident. The impact of thunder that explodes at different times is different. Jinglei, it's not that I don't want to, but I'm really in a difficult situation. Sister, Fang Jinglei said anxiously, if this is delayed any further, the impact on the Fang family will be even greater. The facts are always the facts, and there is no way to cover them up any longer. The later it is discovered, the greater the harm to my mother. If you hesitate any longer, I'll do it myself. I absolutely cannot tolerate him continuing to lie to our mother, and I don't want the Fang family to fall into the hands of outsiders in the future. That is absolutely not possible. Fang Qingyan shook her head slightly. At most, he is an illegitimate child. He is also a descendant of the Fang family. There is no such thing as him falling into the hands of outsiders, as you said. Fang Jinglei sneered. Haha, if it's really what you think, I hope he is a pure adopted son and has no blood relationship with the Fang family. But if there is, have you ever thought that one day he will bring his biological mother in? What will become of Mom and us sisters by then? Are you making wedding dresses for others? I can't accept this result. Sister, tell me, are you going to do it or not? If you don't, I will contact the paparazzi and start investigating Qin Balian. I'll pay for it myself. Fang Qingyan pinched her eyebrows. She had never felt so embarrassed before. I have already informed them, but they are still waiting for my news on when to start the investigation. Can you please stop causing trouble for me? Fang Jinglei was a little angry. Making trouble? This is called setting things right, okay? This matter cannot be delayed any longer. I don't care when you start investigating. I will contact my people now. She picked up her phone from the table and began to look through her address book. Fang Qingyan stood up, walked over quickly and snatched the phone. No, Jinglei, can you let me think about it again? This will have a huge impact on the other party's family and my mother. Fang Jinglei said coldly, Sister, I really didn't expect you to be such an indecisive person. Really disappoints me. From this point of view, you are really not even as good as Ping An. He knows how to stop losses in time, but what about you? The president of a company worth tens of billions of dollars seems so incompetent in such a more fatal matter. I misjudged you. Sister, I'm telling you clearly, whether you are willing to investigate this matter or not, I will do it myself. What a waste of precious time these few days. She stood up, reached out to take back the phone and said, even if the Fang family breaks up, I have the ability to make money on my own and don't need you to support me. Don't use this excuse to fool me. But you, think about what you can do after the Fang family goes bankrupt. Marry someone and let him manage a business. Think about it carefully. I'm going to sleep, you go back to your room. Fang Qingyan opened her mouth, but in the end she said nothing. She left Fang Jinglei's room dejectedly. After returning to her room, she called Gu Beibai. Fang Jinglei opened the drawer, took out a photo from the bottom, and stared at it silently. That was a family photo. Fang Qingyan was standing at the very edge, with excitement and a hint of loneliness in his eyes. Fang Hongzhen, who was in the center, had a calm expression on his face, naturally enjoying the C position. She now completely believes what Fang Qingyan says. What was lacking was just some evidence to convince my mother and my third and fourth sisters. As for this nagging elder sister, she no longer relies on her. The indecision now will only cause the Fang family to suffer greater losses in the future, both reputationally and financially. Fang Qingyan took a leave to receive the award. He bought a pair of very cheap sunglasses on the street and put on a hat and a mask. He refused interviews and donations and received a total of nearly 24 million in prize money. Then I took a taxi and drove around the city before returning to school. The only thing to wait for is the college entrance examination. He now spends all his time practicing questions, and he even remembers most of the questions from this year's college entrance examination. All he had to do was to wait for the college entrance examination scores to come out so that people wouldn't feel surprised. His grades were already good, and now this impression of diligence will undoubtedly convince anyone who has doubts about his grades. Time flies by so fast. He did not use a penny from his bank card. During this period, I study hard every day and go home on time. Because the college entrance examination was approaching, Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing closed the shop and went home after lunch every day starting from June to prepare a nutritious dinner for him. Chen Xiuhui also followed suit and ate until her mouth was full of greasy food every day, without paying any attention to her figure. Fang Ping'an didn't say anything to express his gratitude. All he could do was to give them his best results in return. On the 7th, Chinese in the morning and math in the afternoon. The test site is a foreign language school. Early in the morning, Fang Ping'an was called up at 6 o'clock. Chen Xiaohua and his wife had posted a notice long ago that they would close the business during the college entrance examination. On the one hand, this was so as not to affect their children taking the exam, and on the other hand, they also had their own children taking the exam. Naturally, the two of them hoped to prepare breakfast for Fang Ping'an so that he wouldn't go hungry. Although there was no need to do so, Fang Ping'an knew that he simply could not refuse. Please fill him with this kind of warmth. After breakfast, Chen Xiaohua began to help him check his admission ticket, ID card, and other things. The name on his ID card was still Fang Ping'an, but he changed it after he returned to the Fang family. Not only that, he also changed it on his household registration booklet. The only thing that remained was that his household registration was not transferred to the Fang family. Be safe, don't be nervous, and don't be stressed. I know your grades will get you into a good university. We just need to play our normal role, okay? Chen Xiaohua gave instructions while driving. Liu Qing in the back row also gave the same earnest warning, fearing that he would have to take the college entrance examination less than half a month after leaving the Fang family. It is not necessarily possible to maintain a stable state of mind in such a short period of time. Only Chen Xiuhui was like a carefree elf, pointing and talking at the traffic police on duty on the road. Fang Ping'an smiled and comforted him. Don't worry, I'm in a good mood. I can even say that my mentality now is much better than before any exam in the past 4 years. Being able to be back home with you makes me feel good, and naturally my mentality is good too. Chen Xiaohua laughed and nodded continuously. When they entered the examination room, Chen Xiuhui said to him, "Brother, I know you are the best. Don't feel pressured, we are all waiting for you outside." Fang Ping'an laughed and said, "Okay, when I come out, please prepare a bottle of Coca-Cola for me." He didn't dare drink much water in the morning. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but Liu Qing was worried that going to the toilet during the exam would affect his grades. Chen Xiuhui waved her hand and said, "Don't worry, I promise you'll have something to drink when you come out." Fang Ping'an smiled, turned and walked into the gate. After checking his ID card and admission ticket, he entered the examination room calmly. Chapter 20, Let's Go Home. 20. For him, Chinese is the subject he is least afraid of. Except for the composition, which I was not sure would get full marks, there were no problems with anything else. He has recalled all the college entrance examination questions in the past few days. 3 invigilators kept walking back and forth in the examination room. Fang Ping'an lowered his head to answer the questions. Everything around him had no effect on him. Answer the questions carefully, and do not hand in the paper early even if you have finished it long ago. After the bell rang, he handed in his paper and left the examination room on time like other students. There were many cars parked in front of the foreign language school, and even more parents were standing under the scorching sun, anxiously waiting for their children. Fang Ping'an walked out of the school gate, slowly squeezed out of the crowd and looked to both sides. About 40 meters away, Chen Xiaohua, Liu Qing, and Chen Xiuhui were standing in the shade by the road looking up. Seeing him walking towards her steadily, Chen Xiuhui rushed over with a Coke in hand. "Brother, this is what you wanted." Fang Ping'an took the Coke, unscrewed the bottle, and took 3 big gulps. After a few long burps, he reached out and gave Chen Xiuhui a thumbs up. "It's so enjoyable." The little girl's eyes curved as she held her milk tea and said, "Let's go home." "Well, go home." Chen Xiaohua looked at the 2 children walking towards him side by side, with his own girl holding Ping'an's arm, and he felt very satisfied. "Don't ask me how the exam went later, got it?" He reminded Liu Qing again. What he got was a roll of eyes, If you tell me, of course I know. After 2 days of the college entrance examination, Fang Ping'an knew how well he could score. There is no difference from the college entrance examination questions in previous lives. He was very sure that his score would be much higher than in his previous life. He didn't dare to hope for full marks. At least he was not absolutely sure of getting full marks for his Chinese and English compositions. After all, that thing requires the teacher's subjective judgment, and there is no fixed standard answer. But with a total score of 750, he believed that he could probably get more than 720 points. The only thing you need to consider is which school and what major you choose. Early in the morning on the 10th, he got up and went to a small restaurant to help make wontons and dumplings. These are the things sold in Jiangnan snack bars. This is a decades-old shop with many old customers. Liu Qing and Chen Xiaohua originally wanted him to go out and play with his classmates to relax. On the one hand, it was to relax him, and on the other hand, it was to make him completely forget the days he spent at the Fang family. Fang Ping'an just shook his head. It's not that there are no class reunions, nor are there no calls to go out for fun. But he had no such plan at all. During his 3 years of high school, he strictly abided by all the requirements of the Fang family. For example, you must go home immediately after school and are not allowed to associate with bad people. Originally, Zhao Wei didn't want him to study at number 1 middle school. The idea was actually proposed by Zhao Wei, his biological mother. What I'm afraid of is that if I'm in the same class with Fang Hongjun, it might affect Hongjun's grades. It's really off the mark. In the end, it was Fang Junhong who decided to let him go to number 1 middle school. After all, he was the child of the Fang family, and he should have the best of everything. Apart from spending a lot of time with Fatty at school, he spent the rest of his time at Fang's house. It can be said that during his 3 years in high school, apart from the fact that he was among the top 3 students in the class, the only impression he had was that he was aloof and unwilling to talk to others. Apart from his deskmate Zhao Huyan, he seldom talks to anyone. He doesn't care what others think of him. He was busy flattering the Fang family and had no time to interact with his classmates. Having helped in a restaurant since he was a child, he has not forgotten how to make wontons. My technique was a little unfamiliar at first, but I soon became very proficient. With his help, we could quickly gather enough buns and wontons. You can't pack too much of this stuff. You just need to keep a certain amount. Any more will not be good. He stopped only when there was already a lot of stock in the freezer and started helping to clear the table and wash the dishes. No matter how Chen Xiaohua and his wife tried to persuade him, it was useless, and they could only let him help in the kitchen. It was past 10 in the morning, and there were no customers in the store, so he sat down and started browsing his phone. He wanted to see how much more trouble there was in the lottery incident. There is a lot of information on the internet, but most of it is questioning. It's not the winner who is being questioned, but the number. After all, there were 3 people who won the first prize. Some have doubts, while others believe in the official statement. The main reason is that the winning number is really too magical. It is also the first time in history that 7 consecutive numbers have appeared. This is a result that can only exist in theory, and now it appears. Fang Ping'an stared at his phone with a smile on his face for a while, and then decided to buy a house. He is well aware of which old neighborhoods will be demolished in the future, and which areas will have higher house appreciation values. Yuncheng is close to the sea, and both finance and commerce are very developed. More importantly, this is the provincial capital. His target is the old and dilapidated houses in the city center. Next September, exactly 2 years after his death, construction will begin on 2 new subway lines. According to the estimated construction period of up to 5 years, the prices of houses along the line will increase in 6 years. Not to mention commercial and residential housing. Just talking about apartments, the rent of apartments along subway lines is increasing the fastest. Because the largest user group of these apartments in the future will be young white-collar workers. He decided to buy 2 houses along the future subway line and also buy several apartments. In this way, their family will not have to continue running this small restaurant, and they can rely on collecting rent to ensure that their future living standards will not be lower than now. Just do it when you think of it. Dad, Mom, I'm going to go out for a walk. There are no customers right now. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard Liu Qing quickly agree. Go ahead, go ahead. I told you to go out and play, but you insisted on coming. Your father and I are enough here. Chen Xiaohua also nodded continuously. Go ahead and spend a few more days with your classmates. When you go to college, you will have new friends. Fang Ping'an left the restaurant, opened the map, and selected the nearest agency. Fang Hongjun went out to play after finishing his exam. Not only that, he also rented a villa in Yuncheng and held a 7-day party. He didn't notice at all that in an inconspicuous GL8, two young men were cursing the rich second generation for being licentious, expressing envy, and chewing bread at the same time. But so far, neither of them has the evidence that any employer wants. Fang Hongjun has never been to Heidong District. He always followed Fang Junheng's arrangements and tried his best to avoid contact with his mother to avoid being seen. In the past, we only met when we were traveling. He did quite well in this college entrance examination, and he estimated that he could get at least 640 points. As for things like college entrance examination choices, they have nothing to do with him. All he needed was that transcript. The school in Country M has already been contacted, and Fang Junheng donated 10 million US dollars to the professor's laboratory. All he had to do was get on the plane with his transcript.